What's up, fight fans? My name's Chris, and welcome to the MMA Fight Round. On this channel, I'm going to be covering all things MMA, including my picks, predictions, and bets for UFC fight nights and pay-per-views. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and let me know what you think of the video in the comments, man. Today, we're going to be covering UFC Vegas 84 Ankalaev vs Walker. Starting off with the prelims, we got Joshua Van leading off the card, taking on Felipe Bunes. Felipe Bunes, 34 years old, making his debut in the UFC. Now, that could either show that the guy wasn't ready for the big show yet, or that he was just taking a lot of losses in the regional scene. You know, however way you want to look at it. Joshua Van coming in on short notice, looking great in his past two fights in the UFC. He got to see the grappling and the takedown defense against Zhalgas. We got to see the striking and the grit against Kevin Borjas. I'm gonna have to go with Joshua Van here by decision. He is taking this fight on short notice. He's known to drop a round, so the guy's 22 years old. Got to cut him some slack there, but I do see him winning this fight against. I think he's got all the tools against a guy who's gonna make his debut at 34 years old in the UFC. I really do think we're gonna see big moves out of Joshua Van, and it starts here. It starts in 2024 against Felipe Bunes. Moving up the card, we got Tom Nolan, another guy making his debut against Nikolas Motta, and I do believe we're going to see big things out of this guy, Tom Nolan, as well, man. So long as he can make 155, the dude is 6'3", up to par with guys like Joel Alvarez, Jalen Turner. Just these guys are all huge for the division, and you've seen them rally up some wins. I think this guy, going against Nikolas Motta, a guy who has been looking flat lately in his past two fights. He got knocked out real bad by Manuel Torres and then took a just outclassed beating by Trey Ogden. Tom Nolan, another guy who's got all the tools to knock out Nikolas Motta, man. Again, I think Nikolas Motta needs to spend more time working in the gym and not on the job. The guy is just showing too many holes in his game, and I think Tom Nolan can expose him. He's going to have a 6-inch reach here. He's going to have the 6'3" height. Got to go with Tom Nolan by knockout here. Might take him around to get those debut jitters off. So first or second round, TKO or KO for Tom Nolan. And moving up the card, we got Westin Wilson versus John Silva. John Silva also making his debut in the UFC, but he is coming off his Contender Series fight where he looked a bit like a showman, man. There was times where he wasn't even looking at his opponent, and his opponent, Kevin Vallejos, was dangerous, dude. A guy who I think could even beat Westin Wilson on Saturday night. Westin Wilson has not shown me anything to convince me that the guy is UFC caliber. If you look at his record, you guys see the tail of the tape there, man. He's just not too many losses in LFA. He didn't even pick up a win in LFA. He's got a win in Bellator. Maybe he should have stayed there. Probably would have been more successful. But in the UFC, man, you just can't come in here and think that one style is going to get you far enough. And I believe his favorite style is to be on the ground, try to take fights to the ground. John Silva, coming out of the Fighting Nerds camp, he's probably grappling a lot, and he's got great striking. And the guy's he's going to show that off on Saturday night. I do see him getting a finish here. The odds are kind of crazy for a guy making his debut, so not going to be touching those lines. But got to go with John Silva here by knockout or TKO. See him getting a finish here for sure against Westin Wilson. Might be the last one for Westin Wilson. Let's hope. Moving up, a fight that's a lot more interesting here. Farid Basharat taking on Taylor Lapilus. Basharat's been looking good lately. He's undefeated for a reason, man. He's got the striking. He's got the ground game. Everyone knows it. And I think that's what he's going to bring. That's the X factor that he's going to bring against Taylor Lapilus. If you look at his Lapilus's losses, sorry, Lapilus's losses, the guy usually gets taken down. And Cowlin Lauren was able to get 2 of those. I do see Basharat maybe even doubling that. Basharat is a forward pressure kind of guy. He's gonna bring that forward pressure, get that takedown. I do see him dominating 30-27 in this fight if he doesn't get the finish here. So yeah, gotta go with Farid Basharat by decision, 30-27. Moving up, man. We got Marcus Mcghee taking on Gaston Bolanos. Marcus, 2-0 in the UFC, both finishes. We got to see a sub finish and a KO finish. Who's not knocking out JP buys nowadays, though? But Gaston was able to show off his striking against Aaron Phillips and his get-up game. He did get controlled in that fight, and that's what worries me here, because Marcus has shown that he's got that submission game, and he's shown that he can take these fighters down and control them and do what he needs to do to get that finish. So another guy who's going to have that X factor with the ground game, Marcus Mcghee, and he's got the striking to pair with it. I think he's going to catch Bolanos on the feet, maybe a club and sub finish here for Marcus Mcghee. I do see him rallying up another finish, start off 2024. Marcus Mcghee has shown me enough to say that the guy is talented, and I think he's going to make waves in his weight class. Moving up, man, Preston Parsons taking on short notice Matheus Semelsberger, man. This fight's tricky here, man. Preston brings that heavy grapple game plan, and then Matheus Semelsberger is looking to put you out. So he almost got a finish in his last fight, but he didn't. And that led to 6 takedowns. And Preston is a guy who could do it to you, man. He's going to, no matter how many times you hit him with that jab, he's going to fight through it. He's going to push through and try to get that single leg, double leg, or bring the fight to the cage. I do see Preston getting that takedown, and if he does land enough control time, he's only going to need another round to do it to solidify the fight, because by the 3rd round, this fight that Matthew took on short notice, I don't think his power is going to last all 15 minutes. So I'm going to have to go with Preston Parsons here. He's had the longer camp. He's got the right game plan for Semelsberger. I do see Preston Parsons bouncing back and bouncing back from that loss against Trevor Giles and getting a win here against Semelsberger on Saturday night. Then moving up the card, we got Waldo Acosta taking on Andrei Arlovski, 45-year-old Andrei Arlovski, guys, fighting way past his prime against a dangerous opponent like Waldo, Dominican fellow like myself, by the way. I see Waldo getting an early finish here. The guy has been improving. He's young. He's looking to move up in the heavyweight weight class. And I think he caught Andrei Arlovski at the best time. The guy is really just out there fighting for checks. He's gotten knocked out by Dontel Mays. That never looks good on anyone's resume. I don't see Waldo losing to Dontel Mays ever. In 10 fights, Waldo wins that every fight, every time. And, yeah, man, that just goes to show that Arlovski's past his prime. I do think he would have won that fight if maybe he was in his 30s, you know. But Arlovski out there for a check. And on Saturday night, it could be clear that that's the reason why he's out there. Because I do see Waldo getting an early finish here, 1st or 2nd round. Got to go with Waldo Costa. Phil Hawes, moving up the card, guys. Phil Hawes versus Bruno Ferriera. I've been hearing that Hawes, you know, from other YouTubers, you guys are saying that Hawes might bring a heavy wrestling game plan here. even if he does, man, I do see Bruno being able to get up. I do see Bruno being able to land that ferocious power that he does have. That's what he's known for. He got that finish against RoboCop. Not many people are finishing RoboCop nowadays. And Phil Hawes has been chinny lately, you know, getting knocked out in his past 2 fights. That never looks good. He did take some time before he took this fight, so he has healed up. But Bruno's only loss is to Nursultan Ruziboyev, and I need you guys to look him up. The guy is 6'5" and 185. He's gonna give you problems, man. We definitely would give Phil Hawes problems. So no knock on Bruno Ferriera for losing that fight there. That's his only loss on his resume. Gonna have to go with Bruno Ferriera here, the younger, better fighter, in my opinion, everywhere, and he's gonna show that on UFC Vegas 84. Moving up, guys, we got Ricky Simón versus Mario Bautista, probably one of the better matchups in terms of matchmaking that we could see on this card. Both guys, you know, very similar in style, but I think Bautista's striking is what might get him the W here against Simón. Simón was on a 4-fight win streak before taking that loss to Song Yadong, but he never really showed in that fight much of a threat to in the striking. And Mario Bautista, he's got the striking to be enough of a threat against Damon Blackshear to make it. I know it was a close fight, but the reason why it was a close fight was because he can mix it up so well. So Ricky Simón's kind of got a one-way game plan, and if he doesn't get this fight to the ground, I do see Mario Bautista being the better striker here. So, damn, gonna have to go with Mario Bautista on this one. Getting a big step up in competition. Damon Blackshear, unranked, but very, very good opponent. And Ricky Simón, you know, props to him for taking this fight. I think, like I said, if he doesn't get those takedowns, Bautista is going to get this. Bautista is going to win this fight on the feet, for sure. Moving up the card, guys, we got another man who's fighting in his 40s, but proving everything otherwise that he belongs, man. Jim Miller versus Gabriel Benitez. Jim has been finishing guys, 4 finishes in his last 5 fights, defying all odds, really, in my opinion. Dude, the guy had a jiu-jitsu background, and now he's out there, doesn't care to stand with dudes, doesn't care where the fight goes because of the experience. And I think the experience is going to show again on Saturday night against Gabriel Benitez, who hasn't fought in over a year and has never really convinced me that he was that good. No knock on him, you know. He is a good fighter, but he's, from what I've seen, I think Jim Miller could handle those leg kicks, maybe even catch one. And if this fight goes to the ground, gonna edge Jim Miller there. And on the feet, with what Jim Miller has been showing us lately, I'm gonna have to go with Jim Miller with the striking advantage here too. So give me Jim Miller. When this fight came out, he was a dog, so I hope you guys caught those odds. Give me Jim Miller by knockout or decision here. Now we got the co-main event, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the video in the comments, man. Matheus Nicolau versus Manel Kape. Manel Kape put together 4 wins since losing to Matheus Nicolau. This is a rematch, guys. But I do think that Manel won that first one. If we're going to judge fights based on how we judge them now on damage, Manel was landing the harder shots. Matheus was moving around a lot, dancing a lot, and Manel was trying to catch him. Manel, I do think, has improved since that fight. He's been able to He's been more active. There's everything more positive going his way, because Matheus Nicolau just got brutally knocked out by Jonathan Martinez. Had his wife screaming at the corner. It was bad. It was bad. You guys need to watch that fight. But Nicolau, I personally think that he has been in the rankings for a while, over a year since he fought, and Manel Kape putting together those string of wins. It was only in due time that Manel Kape got this rematch. So I'm glad he's able to rewrite this. I'm going to go with Manel Kape here by finish, maybe first or second round. This fight's got title shot implications, and Manel Kape's going to want to get a finish here against Matheus Nicolau. And then moving up, we got the main event, guys. Another rematch. Another rematch that not as much anticipated, in my opinion. Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. Ankalaev is an extremely boring fighter, in my opinion, guys. The dude hasn't been finishing guys lately, man. I know he was getting KO finishes back in fights that were long ago, I mean, he's got 5 knockout finishes in the UFC. That's great. But when you're not able to finish a guy like Jan Blachowicz, and then you're taking Thiago Santos to decision, Volkan Ozdemir to decision, Nikita Krylov to decision, it's like you're just rallying up these decisions, man. And I'm not, maybe it's a personal thing. I'm not interested in that. But Johnny Walker, the guy who's getting fantastic finishes when he's out there, it's no surprise to me why they rebooked this fight. I think that they do want to build some type of hype off of Magomed Ankalaev, and Johnny Walker has been chinny lately. He's a guy you can finish out there. So, man, I'm going to have to go with the guy who has more tools to win. Magomed Ankalaev, if he fights the way he normally does, he wins this fight. If he fights and he tries to go for a finish here, he can get a finish here, because Johnny Walker has been chinny lately. And Johnny Walker, best chance at winning this fight is a knockout. Doesn't have the advantage anywhere really else. The ground, if this fight goes to the ground or in the clinch, Magomed is going to take advantage there. We've seen it in the first one. He struggled getting up. Took him some time. I know he took a professional approach because he didn't want to get hurt that bad, and then he ended up getting kneed in the face. But Johnny Walker, who knows what we'll get out of him. And that's the best part about it. I'm going to have to go with Ankalaev regardless, though. The guy's got more ways to win this fight, and Johnny Walker's going to have to prove me wrong on Saturday night. But there you guys have it. This is the MMA Fight Round. Those are my picks, predictions. I'll be giving you my bets soon in another video. But those are my picks and predictions. Peace.